Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone back to Spit or Swallow. This is the first time we've done back-to-back shows in back-to-back weeks. We're here talking WWE Draft, follow-up draft. We had some supplemental draft stuff happen this morning. Hello, I'm your host, SES Vince, the Pornhub Poppy, the Sultan of Spit or Swallow, Daddy Delgado, and I'm joined by probably one of my favorite person in this entire planet that isn't my girlfriend. That is the Will Gray. He is a chef by trade and a mark by choice. How you doing, Will?
Vince, I have to be honest. If MySpace was still a thing, you'd be in my top 3. That's all I'm saying.
You'd be my number 1.
Well, I have 2 kids. So, you know what I mean?
Okay,
Jaden,
right.
Connor, Vince.
Fine. It'll be Melissa, Will, and then that's it. And then you'll be in the top 2. You may not be the ones, but you'll be in the top 2.
Hey, I'll take it. MySpace top 3. I'm in it. I'm here for it. I'm great. I love you. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to this. I've never done Spit or Swallow specifically with you.
Yeah, this is a first time experience. You know, like in our 1-year relationship, we still have firsts, which is great to see. We're currently live, and this is a YouTube live exclusive show, youtube.com/creationworld. So go ahead and subscribe there, turn on the bell notifications there, comment, like, all that good stuff. This is where you're only going to be able to find Spit or Swallow for the time being. So youtube.com/creationworld, get those subs up. Will, it is still technically lunchtime, and it's not the creation conversation, but you know what you've been up to, man. What you've been doing? Like, I know we were doing SmackDown Raw last night, and you were in the chat giving me a hard time. But aside from that, man, how'd you feel about WWE drafting this time around? Yeah, night 1.
There were some question marks for me, but I mean, I feel like kind of everybody usually has that in the world of pro wrestling. Like, you always have those couple things that you're kind of like, okay. You know, maybe I felt like, you know, the big one for me, since y'all talked about him last night, is Cody going to Raw.
Yeah.
Like, I personally have a problem with that. I'm hoping that they figure out some ways to maneuver it around to where we eventually get Roman Cody too, because I don't think the world title is a consolation prize. But I feel like if Cody wins it, that's immediately what it feels like.
Yeah, we had that discussion last night on SmackDown Raw, which is, again, available here on YouTube. So the title itself doesn't feel like a consolation prize, but it feels like a consolation prize to Cody, for Cody, because he's chasing the WWE title specifically, because that's the one with the lineage, and that's the one that he wants, because that's the one his father never was able to actually win. No one in his family was able to win. So maybe Cody is still the guy to take the title off of Roman after he completes 1,000 days. Maybe that happens at SummerSlam. You know, Money in the Bank, then he sets up a match. We're fantasy booking here, but maybe he wins Money in the Bank. Maybe he wins the Rumble, then gets his rematch at SummerSlam or at Mania or at the Rumble, and they do it there. Who knows? That Hat Wrestling, saying what's up, everyone? Hope you all enjoy the draft. We did enjoy the draft. It was a pretty solid draft, and we're going to continue that tonight. So last night on SmackDown Raw, we were doing a new segment, new format called Smash or Pass. And yes, interesting picks on Lowdown, Bakley. We'll talk about them right now. And you guys can let us know in the comment section down below as we go through each draft pick, whether you smash or pass them. Will has no idea who got drafted, so he will be live reacting to all these picks, which is a fun little wrinkle of today's episode. So
I don't like coming to shows unprepared. I even told you, I was like, send me a link or something so I can read while I eat lunch. And you were like, do you want to live react? And I was like, yes. yes, I want a live react.
That was probably the better solution here. So I'll let you know this right now. There was some controversial decisions in terms of what they did with some wrestlers. So we'll just kick things off, and we won't keep the public waiting. We're already 5 minutes into this stream, and we're gonna start with some Raw. So the Viking Raiders of Eric, Ivar, and Valhalla have been drafted to Raw. Smash or pass?
I'll smash it.
You'll smash it? Okay.
I think Eric and Ivar are going to be a solid contender in just about any tag team division they end up in, whether it be NXT, SmackDown, or Raw. They would be a dominant team to be in it. And I think what's important about what Eric and Ivar bring to the table is they solidify the mid card. They can compete for the tag team titles. They can hold tag team titles. But what they do is they support that mid card to where, if you just need a banger tag team match, put Eric and Ivar against, Chad Gable and Otis. Put Eric and Ivar against the Street Profits, LWO. You know what I mean? Like, we know we're going to get good matches with them. So I think that's a quality pick no matter what.
Yeah. I'm just going to pass it for the simple fact that I'm not a fan of this current iteration of the Viking Raiders. I like War Machine. I like the War Raiders down in NXT. Ever since they've been on main roster, I have not cared for them, and especially the pairing with Valhalla, aka Sarah Logan.
Not a Valhalla fan. It's Max the Impaler, like from Wish, is what Valhalla is.
Yeah, Max the Impaler on Wish. Yeah. So, but it makes sense to them be on the show that has 3 hours. Bakley said they needed to switch to a 3-hour show. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I'm gonna pass it just for the simple fact that I don't think this is a high value pick. But maybe it was their last pick, so we don't actually know which people were drafted in which order. Okay. We're gonna stick with the tag team route here. I'm trying to get all the lackluster ones out of the way first, so you can react to the other bigger ones. Maximum Male Models, Maxine, Massey, and Mansois have been drafted back to Raw, so they staying on the red brand. Will, smash or pass?
Pass. 1000% pass. At the end of 2022 for Botch Spot's year-end awards, I said Maximum Male Models was the worst gimmick of 2022. And it's not anything against them individually. I just, you know me well enough to know my style of wrestling isn't real character driven. I want good quality in-ring work first and then the story. I don't need the story, then in-ring work. I'm flip-flopped from that.
Let me ask you, because I don't think we've ever had this conversation. What's your personal opinion about the Fashion Police, Breezango?
I liked him, but I feel like he was a good bridge between it because he was a solid in-ring worker no matter what he did. Massey and Mansois or whatever, like these guys never got established as in-ring workers before they just became, jobbing characters. And to me, I feel like if you don't establish yourself in the ring, then your character work means nothing.
Fair point. I'm going to smash it simply for the fact that I've been behind this Maximum Male Models gimmick even back when LA Knight was Max Dupree. I thought it was great. I like ridiculous stuff. If you have not watched my takes on SmackDown Raw, you know that I like the ridiculousness that is pro wrestling. Even though I do enjoy the in-ring aspect of things, I do like Massey specifically because I've seen his work in NXT. I've seen him do some stuff. I've seen him on Up, Up, Down, Down, and I just want to root for the guy. And I actually knew him before he even got signed by WWE because obviously he's a former football player, and he was on like this other podcast before podcasts were actually blowing up. It was on a show called what was it? I forgot what it was. I don't think it was called Going In Raw. I forgot what it was called. Smack Talk or something like it. I don't know. Straight Talk or whatever it was. Straight Shoot. That's the show. It was called Straight Shoot, and he was on there. He was guest. They were recapping the Raw. I'm like, this is a cool dude. This is a dude that I'd want to hang out with, go to wrestling shows, play video games with. Seems like a chill dude. So I just want him to succeed, and it's mostly for Massey. Plus, Maxine Dupree. I can't pass Maxine Dupree. So
she's easy on the eyes. There's no doubt there.
Yeah. Another one. This is a little bit of lackluster one, but a bigger name. Natty Neidhart getting drafted to Raw. Smash or pass?
Pass. Pass.
Yeah,
Pass.
me
Oh,
here.
sorry. I'm just saying it every time she gets a new tag team partner.
Yes.
Like, I will pass Natty 12 times because she's tagged with the entire women's roster. She needs to start adjusting and splitting that bridge to being a part-time in-ring worker and a backstage producer and trainer and coach. Natty's brain for the business is okay. If I say the line, those who can do and those who can't teach, would that make sense? Yeah. Have you ever heard people say that?
Yeah, I've heard it say.
That's Natty Nadhart. She's got the mind for the business. She's just not as smooth and in-ring and technical as, say a Charlotte or a Becky or even a Mercedes Moné even.
Yeah, it's like, going to medical school just to teach medicine.
Bingo.
You're not the best on the field in live reaction situations. So, shout out to Natty though, shout out to Natty. She's been doing it this long. She's a time traveler. If you ask Young Kings Wrestling, which is why she still has all the spots on the roster that she does. That Hat Wrestling saying pass on Natty, why she's still on TV.
Thanks for stopping by, Dad Hat. Love you.
By the way, they also said she is an ambassador level like Titus.
Ooh. That's what I'm saying. She needs to be doing backstage work.
Okay. All right. Speaking of the roster, let's continue on. And people that like to go backstage and complain, the team of Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green are getting drafted to Raw. Smash or pass?
Is this one of those situations where I can gargle undecidedly?
No, you have to smash or pass this one because there is no gargle in here. This is not spitter swap. We're not doing spitter swap, so you got to smash or pass it.
I'll smash it because I like the direction Chelsea Green is going. Because the same reasons I said I had issues with Maximum Male Models, Chelsea is doing a very character-based gimmick right now. Mm-hmm. But Chelsea had proven on whatever she showed us on the indies that she can work. She was out there working with men. She was running solid matches. She got over in Impact. She got over in NWA. Like Chelsea Green showed us she is a good enough wrestler to get over. So now that she's choosing to be a character-based gimmick, I'm here for it. I'll smash Chelsea Green, quite literally, figuratively.
Okay, yeah, I'll smash it too, just for the simple fact that it does feel like Adam Pearce is going to be the authority figure on Raw, and you can't have a complaint committee without a manager to complain to. And it makes sense. And especially, I don't know what they're going to do with the women's tag division. I don't know if they're going to have two exclusive women's tag divisions, one for SmackDown, one for Raw. But they're building up women's tag team right now. They've continuously bring up. Last night, they had Damage Control and Team Firecrotch, as Matt likes to dub them, drafted over to SmackDown. So there was that. Now you have Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville coming over to Raw. This is a good pickup. For if anything, it's a value pick because you get Sonya Deville and you get Chelsea Green. So I'm just smashing it in terms of value. Basically saying there's a lot they can do with comedy. Yeah, Chelsea is pretty good with the comedy stuff. We're gonna continue rolling on. But we're gonna switch things over. No, we'll stick to Raw. Then we'll go to SmackDown and we'll go to some NXT call-ups. Hey, Allison's in the chat. Thank you, Allison, for joining us. We appreciate you.
What's up, boss?
So Indy Hartwell got drafted over to Raw last night, and Dexter Lumis is going to be joining her on Raw. Smash or pass that, Will?
I'm going to smash it. But this will be very fuckboyish of me. I'm gonna smash it, but then be ready to dip if I need to real quick. Because in NXT I thought this was cool, but I don't want this to be a call up to the main roster and then Indy and Dexter and we get Index and then all of a sudden it's just a stupid copy of an NXT gimmick that I love the idea of them coming together and anything that can distance Dexter from Gargano, I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Well, we'll see if that distance Gargano from Lumis, because also getting drafted to Raw is Candice LeRae. So We were talking about women's tag team. Maybe they reunite the tag team of Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae of The Way. They already have 3/4 of The Way on
I was
Raw.
about to say, so they've got 3/4 of the way on Raw now. Then
I won't keep you waiting. Johnny Gargano isn't actually eligible to be drafted this weekend. He's eligible on Monday. So we'll find out on Monday if Johnny joins the rest of the way.
I mean, we see that happening, right? Like just fantasy booking predictions. Like it makes sense for him to go to Raw now if the other 3 members are there already.
Yeah. Dad had saying we are so close to having the way on Raw. They just need Johnny. I want it on Raw. And Bakley is saying as long as Indy doesn't get hidden behind Dexter. Here's the thing. It's not a foregone conclusion. And I'll play a devil's advocate and I'll put this scenario out there. SmackDown is going to need a mid-card. Someone that can actually wrestle and go in the ring. Someone that may be a newer talent. Someone that hasn't gotten that fair shake yet. What if they draft Johnny to SmackDown? He works in that mid-card for that. I'm assuming the U.S. title is going to get drafted there. Him versus Austin Theory, even though we've already seen them, maybe done better, could be over here. He could also, if you level him up enough, could challenge for Roman and lose. I'm not saying he'll beat Roman, but he could give a Roman a great match. That would be a good match to watch, especially if you get more NXT Johnny level content. Then you make Indy and Candice exclusively a tag team, and then you let Dexter Lumis away from Johnny Gargano and let him do his own thing in the mid card. He could challenge for maybe an IC title versus Gunther. That could be an interesting match, Gunther versus Dexter Lumis.
I have a really unpopular opinion about Johnny Gargano.
Say it.
Candice LeRae is the best wrestler in the family.
Oh, 100%. That's not even a hot take, man.
I'm not a Johnny Sameface guy.
Yeah.
I think that he has the same match over and over again. He's not quite as bad as the Young Bucks, but I mean, he's getting there. I feel like he's kind of the same no matter what he does. Johnny Gargano has a whistle. Johnny Gargano, is the way. Like,
yeah,
I'm just not a Johnny Gargano guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I did like DIY though.
Gargano DIY was great.
Ciampa was great. Killer tag team, but I think that was like 80% Ciampa, 20% Gargano.
I'd say it's 50-50 because they just kind of worked well together. I said this in the past, and he kind of proved it to me when he was a heel in NXT as the leader of the way. Johnny felt to me like he was the more well-rounded performer between him and Ciampa. Ciampa doesn't strike me as a very good babyface. He's a fantastic heel, but as a babyface doesn't really resonate as well. Similar to like I don't know, like what's a good guy like the Miz. The Miz doesn't fit perfectly as a babyface. It basically says we aren't friends now. Will sigh. Also, too, if I don't know Ciampa is eligible or not, Bakley can maybe look that up and
he's on the IR right now.
Yeah, he can let us. He's in injury reserve list, but if he goes to SmackDown, you can have DIY on SmackDown and then have Candice and Indy as a tag team on Raw and let them do their own thing. But they don't separate couples, so maybe we'll get DIY and the way and everything. Johnny will have a super faction. All his friends are going to be on.
How dare this multi-billion-dollar company give a shit about employee morale?
How dare they? Speaking of sticking together, drafted over to SmackDown, the entirety of Hit Row, B-Fab, Ashante The Adonis, and Top Dollar. Smash or pass? Well, I know you probably don't care about Hit Row, and it's okay. You can be honest here.
I really, really, really want to love AJ Francis. Yes. I think his work on Forbidden Treasures was a lot of fun. The guy is knowledgeable through the roof. Like, he knows his history. He knows the business. He's just very flat in the rink. And I feel like this is one of those situations kind of like Gargano and LeRae where I'm going to say B-Fab might be the best worker in Hit Row. And that's not saying much because B-Fab's not a great worker.
Maybe you can give it to Ashante. Maybe he's just
okay. I'll give it to Ashante. I'll give you that. But I just feel like AJ Francis is one of those guys like, maybe you're better off as a manager.
Maybe
Be
we'll
somebody's
see.
mouthpiece.
Honestly, with Hit Row, and I was trying to not think it this way, they're missing Swerve. They're missing Swerve, and he's like the missing ingredient. It's like getting the pizza, but with no toppings. Cheese pizza is not terrible, but after you get older, you really don't want cheese pizza. You want some kind of topping on it, whether that's pepperoni, sausage, like whatever you want on your pizza. I'm not saying
Pineapple.
if that's your cup of tea, Will, that's your cup of tea. I'm not gonna kink shame you. So I'm
We don't
gonna
yuck any yums.
yeah, no yucking, no yums. Right. I'm gonna smash it just for the simple fact that they do feel like they fit on SmackDown. And if they continuously build up that SmackDown tag team division, this could be good for them. So I'm going to give it a smash because it's not a bad pick. Because I'd rather have Hit Row than Viking Raiders, to be honest with you. I know
See,
you
okay, this would be the situation where if we were both GMs, like that would be a good trade. Because if you gave me the option between those two, I would pick the Viking Raiders over Hit Row.
Interesting.
Because even with me not liking Sarah Logan, I still like B-Fab more than Sarah Logan, if that makes sense. So like they get the Viking Raiders get the edge with Eric and Ivar, but I hate their manager. And
Right.
then Asante and AJ are like okay, but I like their mouthpiece. You see what I mean?
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
the reverse of each other.
Yeah.
Put B-Fab with Eric and Ivar. That'd be fucking awesome.
She'll be rapping to their theme song on the way to the ring. Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting. All right, also getting drafted to SmackDown, and the last pick for SmackDown. So SmackDown only gets 2 picks. Lacey Evans is staying on the blue brand. Smash or pass?
Pass. I don't give a shit about Lacey Evans. She's been repackaged more than, Pepsi or Coke, man. Like, call it what it is. Like, I don't feel like she has. What's up?
What's up, sir?
Ivan, how are you, sir?
Yeah.
Lacey Evans to me is one of those people. She's never had a chance to run with a gimmick long enough to make it work. The Sassy Southern Belle, like that 2019 range when she was paired with Corbin and they were going against Rollins and Becky around that Extreme Rules period.
Yeah.
That was a great version of Lacey Evans, but it seems like every time she starts to get momentum, WWE wants to stop and repackage, or she says something borderline that almost gets her canceled. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I think that's what it is that she'll be saying something on social media and people will just like go at her viciously. And WWE's like, let's take you off TV for a while so people forget about it. And so maybe it's her putting her own foot in her mouth, But I liked when she was doing like the whole military stuff. She was doing like a female Sergeant Slaughter, which isn't
back to
terrible.
Basics or whatever she was calling it.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't bad, I guess.
But I agree with you. The Sassy Southern Belle was probably the best version of Lacey Evans. And I didn't get a chance to properly say it, but shout out to Ivan. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for joining us last night. It was a great show last night.
That was a fantastic show. Y'all guys killed it.
Thank you. I like to give all the credit to Matt, Ivan, and Justin. I was just there to get roasted in the chat.
God, that was such an experience. Go watch the replay of Smacking It Raw from Friday 4/28.
Yes.
Fantastic episode.
Yes. Go watch the live stream of it so you can watch the live chat as well. That's
where it's at.
You gotta either, you know what, might have to go on Twitch. So go to twitch.tv/CreationWorld. Go to there and watch it there so that you can see the comments on the screen, and maybe you'll see the Twitch comments because there wasn't too much YouTube activity, but it was all exclusively on Twitch mostly. So go to twitch.tv CreationWorld. We have the replay available for about a week, so go ahead and check it out over there.
Your analytics for last night are going to be through the fucking roof because of all those chat messages. Like all that interaction for 2.5 hours straight while y'all did this show, just boom. Blow the analytics up.
Well, Bakley kind of spoiled it a little bit. We're live reacting. Will has no idea, so we're live reacting. So don't put the pics on the chat so Will can't see them. But since it's already there, that's where I was going next. We got two NXT. We got a few NXT call-ups. Zoe Stark getting drafted to Monday Night Raw. Smash or pass, Will?
Smash, 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 smash. I think she is great. She is an up and comer. I think she's hungry. She adds depth to the mid card. I think that if WWE ever pulls the trigger on a women's mid card title, I immediately put her up there as somebody who could be a contender for a mid card. Give her another 3 to 5 years, Zoe Stark could be a very, very plausible contender for the women's world title.
Yeah, 100%. And they really are gutting NXT, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're taking everyone from NXT." Look, you need to get these guys out of NXT because it's not a third brand that people like to believe it is. It is a developmental brand, not just for newer up and coming guys. Like maybe it's people just to get some exposure, but Zoe Stark's done everything she can do in NXT aside from win the NXT Women's title, and I doubt she's going to do that anytime soon. She can go over to Raw, be a singles threat. Depending on who is in that division, she can have great matches with just about anyone. And, shout out to Young Kings Wrestling because I know they're probably hyped to see their fellow Las Vegas wrestler just show up on Raw. So shout out to that. So I'm going to smash it as well. Top GN Network. So far you've missed almost the entirety of the drafts. We smashed Zoe Stark going to Raw. Gotta preface it by saying going to Raw. Where you're passing on Hit Row, I'm smashing Hit Row. But yeah, we got some few more things. Another NXT call up to Raw as well. Raw gets all the call ups. I'm just letting you know right now. Apollo Crews going back to Raw. Smash or pass?
I'll smash it. And partially because I said it in the group chat yesterday when they showed you the PC photo and all the NXT people were like watching the draft live and it looked like, Selection Sunday on NCAA weekend. You know what I mean? And there was like Apollo Crews sitting there in an NXT shirt, like clapping. And I was like, didn't we see this like 10 years ago? Like, why is Apollo Crews back in NXT? I appreciate going. I don't like to say going back because you're right. NXT is very much a developmental brand, but it's not a developmental brand the same way it is in other wrestling promotions because WWE, they're not just developing in-ring work. One thing WWE is developing is that WWE identity. They take pro wrestlers and athletes and they turn them into WWE superstars. And that process starts at the PC and then goes into NXT. So that's why somebody like a Dragon Lee went to NXT. And I think Apollo Crews needed to go back to NXT. He needed to kind of refine the style a little bit. He was having some trouble with the footing. Plus, they gave him that stupid gimmick. Like, I'm sorry. He was... I don't know. I appreciate what he was doing for the history and the lineage and everything that goes into his family. But when they made him use the fake accent, it was like when Selena Vega started using the fake British accent. You know what I mean? We know that's not what you sound like when you talk. Like
especially because she would like leave and enter the accent so frequently. Yeah, it was. Oh man.
It's along the same lines of them forcing Kofi Kingston to fake a Jamaican accent.
Well, he was doing that on his own, and then he wanted to stop doing it, but they forced him to do it like when he was doing interviews and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. It wasn't just they made him keep the accent all the time. So I just feel like Apollo is one of those guys. If they just let Apollo Crews be Apollo Crews, he could be a fucking star. He's the quintessential reason why I've always said they needed to raise the Intercontinental title up, and it sucks. Apollo Crews' IC title reign is to the IC belt what Drew McIntyre's reign was to the World Heavyweight title.
Ooh, that's rough.
You know what I mean? It's just poor timing because of where we were at, like where the world was at the time. Like there weren't enough eyes for them to truly appreciate what Apollo was doing.
Yeah. So maybe he gets that opportunity on Raw because the best version of him was when he was doing that gimmick. He was the IC champion on SmackDown. He got drafted to Raw. Then he went down to NXT. Now he's back on Raw. So honestly, maybe it was just a case of like they had nothing for him on Raw and they wanted to still showcase him. So he goes down to NXT to be showcased so people still remember he can put on good matches. He's a good wrestler.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
The Braun Breaker match was fucking great.
I just hope he stops with this whole vision on the notepad gimmick where he's sitting in the coffee shop stuff. Just I don't know. Just we got to find something. The final NXT call up to the main roster, going to Raw as well. JD McDonough leaving NXT. He didn't stay there too long, but he's now on Raw. Smash or pass, Will?
I think I'm gonna pass. And not for it. I like JD McDonough. I think Jordan Devlin was fine.
Yes.
I don't think there was any. It's like Piper Niven, not necessarily the same as Piper Niven becoming Dewdrop, but he was already great as Jordan Devlin. He was already a WWE Cruiserweight champion as Jordan Devlin. He was competing in NXT UK for the title as Jordan Devlin. So he comes to NXT, like Florida NXT from NXT UK, and all of a sudden they're like, that guy doesn't exist anymore. He's JD McDonough now. Like, no, he's not. Like, that's Jordan Devlin. That's Finn Balor's boy who's been training with him since he was like 13 years old. Like,
yeah,
we know
that's my whole thing too. Basically saying I'm smashing the shit out of this. I'm assuming he's referring to JD getting called up to Raw, and then he's saying mid-card champion right here.
Him upsetting Gunther would be a push.
That'd be a stretch to say that he'd be challenging for that title and could be a champion. No, I don't agree there. Shout out to Daddy Just in the chat. Scissor me
Daddy Just. Did Iliad get drafted?
No,
not yet.
So this is all the NXT call-ups
so far to date, as of this morning. Right?
As of this morning, of today until Raw, because Raw we're gonna get more stuff going. But this is so far today. People that were eligible. We had 4 wrestlers that were eligible to get drafted today. Well, 3 to get eligible to be drafted, and 1 that got a call-up, but no name, no brand, I should say. So we have Omos and MVP, because MVP structured it so that he'd be a free agent. We don't know if this means he's going to be on either Raw or SmackDown down the line, or if he's going to show up on both shows. But currently, Omos is a free agent. Smash or pass?
This is where, like, one thing that Matt and I agree on is if you're going to have a brand split, make it mean something. Mm-hmm. When you have 3 and 4 and 5 wild cards, your brand split stops to matter. It stops mattering. You start getting that uncomfortable gray area between the red and the blue. I guess that would make purple, not gray, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you get that really, that weird purple area in the middle. And this is where you're going to get like your Omos and your Brocks and, you know, like your, what would it be called? Your, like,
I can't even
say spectacles. You know what I mean? Like the big guys that go in and do one-offs, and that's it. Like, your big spectacles and your attractions are going to be your wild cards. But if the brand split wants to matter, everybody has to be on a brand. You can't have guys bouncing all over the place, because then it means nothing. Back in the day when Austin was a wild card, Austin was the only one. You know what I mean? So you didn't know where he was going to show up.
But that made sense because it was Austin, and technically it was a free agent, which made sense.
So if you look at it like this, though, if you've got 4 or 5 people that aren't Steve Austin but still get the Austin treatment, it makes it kind of watered down. So I'm not a big fan of free agents at all, and I don't think Omos is one of the guys that needs to be a free agent. He should be branded and be building established feuds and storylines.
So I'm gonna assume that them being free agents just means they just weren't drafted today, and then down the line means that either brand can sign them, and maybe that's what it is. They're gonna be free agents, and they can either go to NXT, because I saw someone tweet this saying that whoever doesn't get drafted that NXT should be treated as free agency, and whoever doesn't get drafted should go down to NXT in the meantime while they do other stuff. And especially with these 2 other guys that didn't get drafted and are free agents. And I'm going to go I'm going to give them to you both. That's Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali. They didn't get drafted. They're free agents. I don't know if that, like we said, I don't know if that means they can be on Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if that means they're going to show up on NXT as well until they get signed. Maybe they get signed down the line and they're just temporarily free agents because no one drafted them. So smash or pass, one by one. We'll do one by one. Let's start with Dolph.
I'll smash Dolph.
Being a free
I'm
agent?
behind it. I think Dolph Ziggler. I think he needs to be branded for the. That's just copy and paste what I said about Omos. I don't agree with the free agent thing, but looking at Ziggler, Ziggler's one of those guys. If he goes to NXT, he's going to help put over young kids and help get them ready and coach and mentor and do everything he needs to. If he goes to Raw, he helps elevate that mid card. He could be one of those. Like he could be a semifinalist, maybe like semifinalist in the new heavyweight title tournament.
Yeah.
He's a former heavyweight champion. He could go to SmackDown. He could fight Roman. Nobody thinks he'll win, but exactly. Top G Network says it. He's a legend, and he's not a legend as in like he's the GOAT. Nobody ever really says Ziggler is the GOAT. But what makes Dolph special is the same thing that makes The Miz special. He's been consistent for so long now.
Yeah.
It just puts him on a different level.
That's true.
And he sells his ass off every time he's in the ring. And that's
shout out to Kyle.
Kai.
He's in the chat. We're all here smashing and passing wrestlers, Kyle. So you can smash and pass with us if you like. I'm gonna pass it just for the simple reason that I feel like Dolph should be drafted somewhere, and I don't like the idea of him being a free agent. Granted, that means he could either show up on Raw or SmackDown or NXT currently, but I think he should be signed somewhere. And I think maybe they're gonna just wait to see how things shake up after Raw. Raw's version of the draft concludes, and maybe then we'll see a location for them. But I'm going to pass it for now. Let's move on to Mustafa Ali now, so that we can wrap up with the final anticlimactic Mr. Irrelevant. Mustafa Ali, free agent as well. Similar lines in terms of he's a utility guy, just like Dolph Ziggler. You can put him just about anywhere. Right now, he's doing like this whole positively gimmick, which is basically the Bo Dallas Bo Leave gimmick. Shout out to him. He got a win on Raw in Chicago, so Chicago's own getting the win. But I don't know. Maybe this could mean he goes down to NXT. I'd like to see him go down to NXT. Maybe this means he does get added to NXT's roster. And for just like Apollo Crews for a while wasn't doing anything. Maybe you put Ali in there. Ali versus Carmelo Hayes. That match wouldn't miss.
Ali versus Wesley for that North American title. Put those two fucking fast ass luchador motherfuckers going head to head. Plus, we both know, like the Rascals, like we know Wesley can fucking work. Like he can
100%.
go fast, he can flip, he can match Ali's style and charisma in the ring. So give me Wesley Ali in NXT for the North American title.
Yeah,
I am, however, speaking this into existence.
Yes,
I'm passing. Because they need to free Mustafa Ali so this motherfucker can go to the G1. I want him to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali.
Hey, he's a free agent now. Maybe he will.
Mustafa Ali in New Japan would be fire. There's so many quality wrestlers over there that he could interact with and just have match after match. So I'd say free Mustafa Ali and send him to New Japan so we can get him in the G1. They've already booked Best of the Super Dupers. So we'll have to wait for the G1, the G1 climax.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mustafa Ali is a great talent in the ring. People forget that he was getting over. He had the spot. He had the spot that Kofi did in that chamber until he got injured, and then Kofi took his spot in the chamber in that gauntlet match. And then Kofi Mania became a thing because Ali got injured, which it always like. It's a big what if. What could have happened with Mustafa Ali? Because
he was always that close.
He was always this close. Then, like Retribution had the potential to be something good. He got revealed as the leader, which was really good stuff. Because you're like, okay, he's a leader of a faction, but then it became nothing. Then he leaves that, and you're like, okay, he's gonna be just himself, and he's still just like not clicking. So. I'm gonna smash it because. He's going to be a guy that could fit on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. And I'm really hoping he goes down to NXT. So Top GN News is saying, you think Dragunov will get drafted? JJ was saying, I was typing that as you said it, and also continues to follow up. Give me him versus Leo.
Yep. See, if Ali was able to get over there in the Super Dupers, like Ali versus Leo, who is the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion? I can't remember now. I'm on the spot.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many talented guys over there. UW podcast. What's up, everybody?
Shut
JJ.
up, guys. Shut up, everyone. Shout out, everyone. So I'm smashing Ali. Being a free agent, but I'd still smash him regardless. The final guy, Mr. Irrelevant. For some reason, Von Wagner is a free agent. Will smash or pass Von Wagner being the free agent?
Pass. This wasn't even one of the top NXT call-ups that I thought would have happened. You know, what's up with a Braun Breaker who's not a champion right now and is ready for the main roster, or a Grayson Waller who's definitely ready for the main roster but didn't get called up yet. So like Von Wagner?
You know what's a name that I think should get called up on Monday Night Raw is Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
100%.
1000% agreed.
She could be the next big star in that women's division and on either show, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm gonna pass it too because fuck Van Wagner.
Von Wagner, yeah.
Von Wagner. Jeez, I can't pronounce his name.
Wagner.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter. The only thing is like why, like unless it's like auditioning to see what show he clicks or something.
Maybe they'll be doing like dark matches with him just to see how he does. You remember when they did that with Keith Lee right before they rolled out that ridiculous Bearcat gimmick where he was like doing nothing but dark matches? Maybe that's what they'll do with Von Wagner. They're just going to test him out with the crowds to see what they can do with him.
What's worse right now? For Keith Lee current gimmick on AEW wearing the cape and teaming with Dustin Rhodes, or Bearcat Keith Lee?
At least Bearcat Keith Lee was a callback to, a classic person of color in history, one of the first black heavyweight champions in the world, versus right now. And to be completely honest, I said it last night, it's like Goldust and Booker T from Wish, honestly. Like, it seems like they're trying to make this something that it's not.
Dude, it's even worse than because they redid it with Goldust and R-Truth, and even Golden Truth was pretty solid. It was still pretty good for me. This it's not doing it. Dustin Rhodes is just not Goldust, and unless he has the
serious version of this character, like the Dustin Rhodes now with the half Stardust, Rhodes Wrestling Academy star on his gear. Like, this is a very serious Dustin Rhodes. It doesn't hit the same way as it did when he was, that weird, perverse character that was the enigma that was Goldust. Yeah. Because now he's just a regular dude with a face paint.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like, it doesn't hit the same.
The most I've cared about Dustin in AEW was when he was feuding with his brother and had that match at Double or Nothing. Aside from that, I never really cared. Yeah,
that match.
Yeah, that match. Great match. One of my favorite matches of all time in AEW history.
That's signed by Earl Hebner from that match.
Yeah. We're gonna answer this question from Kaitai. He's even though we covered it already, he says, Cody Hinton, Ross, Roman and SmackDown. Do you believe that they will still clash over the unified title? Maybe Cody wins Money in the Bank. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he's going to win Money in the Bank, or he wins the Rumble. And we talked about it. It does feel like a consolation prize for Cody if he gets this world title. And I don't personally am of the belief that he's a foregone conclusion to win that world title. I still think that Seth Rollins is a great candidate to win that world title on Raw.
So follow me here. All right. Cody, we're going to look at 85 to 86 Dusty Rhodes, leading up to Dusty taking the title from Flair in 86. All right. Cody lost at WrestleMania. He got the shit beat out of him by Brock. All right. We're going to go into Backlash. Let Cody eat another L.
Yeah.
All right. Let it go in to the World Heavyweight title going into Night of Champions. Let Cody fight through the tournament on Raw and then, or on SmackDown rather. No, he's on Raw. Never mind. I got it.
Yeah, he's on Raw.
Let him fight through the tournament on Raw and then lose in the finals.
Yes.
Then have him go in and, and kind of fight, have to earn his way in, then make him earn his way into Money in the Bank. Let him win Money in the Bank and then let him start building up from there. Like, let him chew on a couple more L's. You know what I mean? Like, they've already set it up. We know Roman's going to hit 1,000. He's not going to drop it before. It'll be Clash of Champions next month before he hits 1,000. We're about 35 days off or whatever. So I feel like just letting Cody go through the story and build the losses, because that's the whole hard times gimmick. Hard times, baby. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's what this is.
It's
like,
the hard
that's what
times
Cody's going
storyline.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, and I've said this before because I've thought about it, especially since I had more time to ponder about it after the results at WrestleMania Night 2. Cody Rhodes came into WWE at WrestleMania last year, beat Seth Rollins clean, won, had a rematch against Seth, and I believe beat him again. Then had the rematch in the Hell in a Cell with the torn pec, and he still won. Came back at the Royal Rumble at number 30, mind you, versus a Gunther that was there from the very beginning, won that. Then, ever since then, win. Gets acknowledged that he's undefeated going up to WrestleMania versus the undefeated Solo Sikoa on the Raw prior to WrestleMania. Win. Goes to WrestleMania, first loss back in WWE. He hasn't experienced any struggles. He hasn't had any hard
adversity whatsoever.
No adversity whatsoever. And that's part of the journey. You need to have some adversity. And I totally believe that even if they wait till next year WrestleMania, I think that's the perfect time. In terms of who should be that world champion, because that was asked by Top GN, like, who do we believe should win that world title on Raw? I'm going to put my money in the hat and say that it's going to be Seth Rollins, but I hope that Gunther by this time next year is champion.
I 100% think Gunther needs to be the world's heavyweight champion. He needs to be the first feud with whoever wins it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Between now and that person winning the title and Gunther breaking Honky Tonk Man's record, somebody takes the belt off of Gunther and Gunther immediately challenges for the world heavyweight title. And I know that seems counterintuitive for you to lose something and then immediately get promoted, but Gunther's proven that he's ready to be that guy.
Yeah.
So I've got zero problems with Gunther being a world champion at any point.
100%. He's just currently the IC champion, and I want to make sure that it gets properly built up to him losing that IC title. And I don't want to do like, oh, he goes after the world title while he's IC champion. He can be in the tournament.
It loses everything he's built, right?
Yeah.
If they just drop it to somebody and it means nothing, all the prestige that he's built over the last year, almost year and a half, will drop down.
Unless you give him all the titles, in which case just give him all the titles.
Just pull a Shawn Michaels and he holds every major title in like 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. Bring back the 24/7 title, give it to him because no one's going to challenge him. Then bring back the Cruiserweight title and then say that he's 205 and then give it to him. I'm okay with that. Arun is saying Baron Corbin would go undrafted too. He's asking, will Baron Corbin go unpicked? So I don't think eligible until Monday. But I love me some Baron Corbin. I love Baron Corbin. I think, especially if he goes to like this current gimmick where it feels like it's going back to bum ass Baron Corbin, where he can't catch a break. Unlucky Baron Corbin. I like this. See, that's a man who's had hard times. That's a man that's faced adversity. That's a man that has a challenge and a ladder to climb up, a mountain, a hill to climb. So. Yeah, I don't think he'll be unpicked. I think someone actually, you know what? It will go with his gimmick if he goes unpicked. So I think he will go unpicked. It'll go with his current gimmick of not catching the break.
I hope this is the shift back to the lone wolf. Like once he kicked JBL to the curb, I was
JBL
like, okay.
kicked him to the curb.
Okay, whatever the case was. But yeah, like I think that Corbin needs to go back to who he was right before he shaved his head. He was a badass.
I like the shaved look better than the long hair.
The shaved look is great, but I mean personality-wise. Go back to the guy with the long, ratty black hair.
I know this is controversial, but I liked Constable Baron Corbin. Because he was still a good smug heel. And you know, I thought it just worked. I thought it was work. He wasn't the lone wolf, but you know, he wears the suit well. And he dresses up nicely.
King Corbin. That was my least
King Corbin was terrible, yeah. King Corbin
that was my least favorite Baron Corbin.
Justin says Cody is like the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm assuming he just very
hot. Game 7.
No, they went to Game 6. They only went to Game 6. They got eliminated last night.
Oh, did they end up losing? Oh, yeah, it was like 103-67 or something.
Yeah, they were like losing by like 30 points with like the third quarter. Actually, let me double check. I don't want to like say false information live on the stream. So I'll look that up to see if they actually won. In the meantime, Will I think this is a good time to wrap things up. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a question about the draft on Monday. Who do you hope gets drafted? Where? What are you looking forward to with night 2? And then we can plug our socials after.
When we go into Monday, I'm going to say this in response to WrestleMania Night 2 and the Raw after Mania. Like, I don't want a WWE hangover. I feel like this draft has been a good balance. Like, there's been some picks that have been like, oh shit. And then there's been some picks that were kind of like, but there really hasn't been a fucking like a pick that's gone to the shits. You know what I mean? There hasn't been one that's been just completely crap, obviously a work. They jacked something up majorly. Like the women's champion going to Friday is like Bianca going to SmackDown is a little bit iffy. That's the biggest one, because if Rhea goes to Raw, then they're going to have to do the stupid flip-flop thing. And Bianca's been undefeated for over a year now. Like, it makes it seem like it.
You know how long she's been undefeated? She was SmackDown champion. Wait, no. Never mind.
She won it at Mania last year, right?
She won it. Yeah, I think she won it at Mania. Yeah, you're right.
So
I don't know. It's been so long.
Bit over a year. But the point is, she's been killing it for a solid year. So to make her do one of those stupid handoffs with the belt, correct, Top G Network, Corbin was the last pin Roman 2019.
And so it's been over hard times ever since. You know, hey, that's what you do. You build up Baron Corbin, and he's the one that takes the title off of Roman Reigns.
He pinned him in 2019. He'll pin him in 2023.
The first and last person to ever pin Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin. That's how you
book it, Vince. Book it.
You know, I'm with you. That's the only pass I'm gonna give the WWE draft. The only spit I'm gonna give the draft is I don't like when they do that.
Yeah.
When they move the Raw Women's Champion to SmackDown and the SmackDown Women's Champion to Raw. And look, the way they executed the title exchange between Charlotte and Becky was terrible because they were acting like spoiled brats, like children. Didn't want to like share their toys or share their food, what have you. They acted terribly. I would hope if they do something similar, it'd be kind of like the Raw after WrestleMania segment where Bianca and Rhea were in the ring together, just kind of like talking about how this match is going to happen at some point down the line. Maybe they have another fire promo. Hold on.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let me get my thought first, and then we'll go. And then have a fire promo segment. They exchange the titles with tension. It's done with tension. Like, I feel like it can be executed properly. But, you know, with the SmackDown titles, they've done that in the past where I think it was the Usos in the New Day, and they're just like, no, it was not the Usos in New Day. It was Street Profits in New Day.
Yeah, because like, the Street Profits low-key became Grand Slam Tag Team Champions on that because they won the SmackDown titles without winning the SmackDown titles.
Yeah, exactly. So for the tag titles, I don't really care if they do that. The women's titles, I'm a little bit more iffy on. So if executed properly, Rhea and Bianca are the future of this women's current iteration of the women's division. I think it'd be perfect for them to like have a really good segment on Raw.
So just to make sure the timelines are set in my head right, the next Saturday is Backlash, and they're saying the Monday after that, all the rosters will be set.
Yes. So this Raw is the night 2 of the draft. SmackDown is basically the pre-show of Backlash, like the go-home show for Backlash. So there's going to be some like pay-per-view matches that are like lower level pay-per-view matches, like Shinsuke versus Karrion Kross. So maybe Karrion Kross stays on SmackDown. You saw Viking Raiders get drafted to Raw and the OC getting drafted to SmackDown, but they're going to have a tag match on SmackDown as well. So this looks like the blow-off match, you know, like the blow-off like matches.
And is Bianca like, defending the title at Backlash?
She is, but she's defending it to with Io Sky, who is on SmackDown as well.
Okay, in my head, I was thinking make Rhea and Bianca have a exhibition match at Backlash.
Yeah, well, Rhea and Bianca are defending the titles on Backlash.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was curious. I was like, wait a second, are they already on the card? Because I know this is almost like this isn't a bot show, but it almost kind of feels like a bot show a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't really see a whole lot, if any, titles changing hands at all this weekend. I know Bianca's not losing to Io. Like, I don't even know who Rhea's working. So, like, I don't think
It's
Rhea's
Selena Vega. We
Yes.
talked about it on the show last night.
I'm Will. I'll forget things. Yeah. I slept since then, barely, but I slept.
It's all right.
I just feel like we don't see a lot of titles changing hands, so this is almost like a bot show. We're getting the Bad Bunny Damian Priest street fight, which is going to be cool as hell.
That's your main event.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that main event. All right, so yeah, man. Any final thoughts? JJ says, "Give me string hair Corbin all day." To each his own. Any final thing you want to say about the draft before we plug our stuff?
I just hope WWE doesn't let us down with night 2. That's all I'm saying. Like, I hope they deliver. They've had a little bit of questionable content on their second nights the last few years. WrestleMania last year, WrestleMania this year, night after WrestleMania. Just don't let us down on night 2.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I hope they don't do any unnecessary splits of factions or tag teams. I say it because don't do something where you draft Rey Mysterio to SmackDown and the rest of LWO on Raw. That is stupid. Unless you're gonna have different like factions or sets or groups representing LWO across all brands, don't do it. Judgment Day, leave all 4 of them intact. I know Rhea is great on her own. She doesn't need Judgment Day, but I like the aesthetic of Judgment Day and Rhea together. Dom, everyone. I don't want anyone to get split up. So don't do that. The only one I'll say that I'm okay with is the Usos getting drafted to Raw because it looks like they're already teasing a breakup and the fallout like from the bloodline. So that's the only one I'm going to say. Don't split up LWO. Don't split up Judgment Day. And we won't have any issues. Circle of Debate. Ivan says, great show, fellas. Love you both. Love you too, Ivan. We need to collab.
Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
I would like to remind everyone to go ahead and follow us on social media as well. If you love us just like Ivan, go to Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at It's Creation World. Follow us there. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We tweeted it from the Twitter just then when we were going live. We weren't planning on doing the Spit or Swallow this morning, but you know what? Well, this afternoon. But we did it anyway. So follow us on social medias. Will, plug your stuff, man.
Vince, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come here into your realm and Travis's and Matt's realm and be the honorary use of Its Creation World. It's always my pleasure to be here. I am the Will Gray. I'm the host and lead writer of Botchbots and Share Shots. You can find us at botchbotsandshareshots.com or anywhere you do anything on the internet. If you check my link tree at the Will Gray, you'll find everything you need.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. The link tree in my bio takes you to everything Spit or Swallow, Creation World, Smacking the Raw, Straight Talk, Getcho Podcast. I'm on a few podcasts now. I've poured myself out a little bit. But thank you guys for checking out the live stream, checking out Spit or Swallow. We'll be back. We'll probably do another one if there's something going on. We're going to be doing the WWE Draft on Straight Talk next week, Saturday, on my personal YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com/SESVince. Let me just bring it up there for everyone. Go ahead, sub there. We'll be talking there as well. There we go. Shout out to the chat, Top GN Network. Thank you for the sub. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. This has been fun. Will, thank you for accompanying me on this journey, man. So for the Pornhub Poppy Daddy Gatto, the Sultan of Spit or Swallow, SESVince, and the Will Gray, this has been Spit or Swallow, SmackDown LowDown Draft Results Edition. Later, y'all.
Peace.